is the way. This is the way.
As long as one Mandalorian lives, we will survive.
Before Disney, George Lucas allowed many creatives, from writers to games and everything in between, tell their stories to add to the tapestry of Star Wars. While the Legends material is no longer canon, many elements from these have been brought into the main story of Star Wars. These stories became the expanded universe and is what we know today as Legends. So many of the stories from the past are still worth exploring. So let's dive back into the lore, the legends, and the canon that make up the history of the Mandalorians. Before we get into it, if you're a fan of our videos, please like our content and subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out and gives us the opportunity to create more content for you. Chapter 2: The Scattered Clans. After the Mandalorian Wars, where Mandalore the Ultimate was defeated, Revan took the Mask of Mandalore, which was passed down from leader to leader, and hid away. Without it, the Mandalorian clans could not declare a new leader, for remaining clans scattered throughout the galaxy. After their defeat, many Mandalorians became bounty hunters and mercenaries, while some even became gladiators. Now, we can't talk about the Mandalorians without talking about Revan. Revan was once a Jedi, and after the Mandalorian Wars, he turned to the dark side and became Darth Revan, alongside his apprentice Darth Malak. He upended the galaxy to try to find the ancient Rakatan artifact, the Star Forge. Many Mandalorians wanted to seek revenge against Revan, so they fought against the Sith during this time. Eventually, Revan was captured by the Jedi and they wiped his memories, so once again, Revan returned to the light side of the Force. After this, Revan met a mercenary named Canderous Ordo, who was once a Mandalorian crusader, and they worked together to stop Revan's old apprentice Darth Malak and his Sith Empire. Revan would eventually stop Malak and destroy the Star Forge, ending the Dark Wars. After he had defeated his old apprentice, Revan believed the truth Sith still remained in the unknown regions, and believed that they would be a future threat to the galaxy. At this time, he began to regain some of his old memories from the time that he was a Sith, and he gave the Mask of Mandalore to Canderous Ordo. Revan believed that the galaxy needed the Mandalorians to be united to fight against the future threat of the Sith, and believed Ordo should reunite the clans. After this, Revan disappeared into the unknown regions and Ordo became the new Mandalore, taking the name Mandalore the Preserver. Ordo set out to unite the clans, and along the way he encountered one of the last remaining Tongs in the galaxy. This unnamed Tong told Ordo that Mandalore the Ultimate was not the rightful Mandalore, and that he, the last Tong, was the rightful heir to Mandalore the Indomitable. But he was near death, so this last Tong gave his armor and his clan to Canderous Ordo, and asked him to carry on the traditions of the Mandalorians. Ordo took the armor and used the Mask of Mandalore and incorporated it into the Tong's helmet. He then went to an old outpost on Duxon and worked to rebuild the Mandalorians under Clan Ordo. In 3951 BBY, the Mandalorians would aid the Jedi and the Republic and fight against the Sith Dark Nihilus, defeating him alongside a Jedi exile named Mitra Surik, who had been a former Jedi general of Revan's. The legend story of Canderous Ordo seems very familiar to what they are telling with Din Djarin in The Mandalorian. He is a Mandalorian during a time when all the clans are scattered. He works alongside Jedi allies and will work to unite the Mandalorians. Even though Ordo tried to unite the clans, the Mandalorian clans remained fragmented for about 3 centuries. In 3661 BBY, Revan's prediction came true, and the reconstituted Sith Empire returned to the galaxy, and the Sith wanted the Mandalorians to aid them. They eventually propped up a Mandalorian gladiator on Geonosis to claim the title of Mandalore, and many Mandalorians would rally to this new leader, known later as Mandalore the Lesser. He was ultimately a puppet for the Sith Empire. This led to many battles between the Jedi and the Mandalorians. Now, Mandalore the Lesser wanted to solidify his support from the clans and called for a competition known as the Great Hunt. One Mandalorian warrior named Artus challenged the Mandalore and killed Mandalore the Lesser. Artus became the new leader and took the title Mandalore the Vindicated. Now, Mandalore the Vindicated would remain an ally of the Sith, but later died in battle against the Eternal Empire. Now, the Eternal Empire, also known as the Eternal Empire of Zakul, or the Zakul Empire, was a totalitarian dictatorship in the Outer Rim. It had an emperor named Valkorion, and Valkorion actually fought against both the Galactic Republic and the reconstituted Sith Empire. After Mandalore the Vindicated died, a bounty hunter named Shae Vizsla took the mantle and became Mandalore the Avenger, and fought against the Eternal Empire. From 2000 BBY, the New Sith Wars, also known as the Jedi-Sith War, began and lasted for 1,000 years, and ended when the Sith ultimately destroyed themselves as they fought each other for power. But Darth Bane survived and instituted the Rule of Two. ushering in a time of peace and prosperity for the Jedi and the Republic. At the end of the new Sith Wars around 1000 BBY, a mercenary named Aga Awad returned to Mandalore and found his clan was decimated by a plague and the entire sector was fighting against raiders and pirates. Aga rallied the Mandalorians to defend their homeworld and became Mandalore the Uniter and rebuilt Mandalorian space. Many other leaders rose up in this time, and in 60 BBY, a new leader arose named Jaster Muriel. So tune in next week for Chapter 3 as we dive in further to explore Jaster Muriel and the rise of Jango Fett. Thanks for joining me today on Fatherly Fandom, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. From our families to yours, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.